Hello, and welcome to the Dialogue on Dialogue podcast. I am your host, Phil Recheck, and I have another very special woman that I'll be interviewing today. She was a tall tale finalist for the District 35 contest. So very accomplished speaker with a fantastic and just hilarious tall tales speech. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and play her video, and then we will have a chance to talk to Kjersti Beth after we watch it.
When I had the opportunity to take this prestigious class, I pounced. They let you work on a human cadaver. No more coloring chambers of the heart, no more dissecting frogs. Oh no, I was going to get my hands on Grandpa's guts. And this renowned cadaver was affectionately named Grandpa Joe, and he resided in a stainless steel tank in the basement of the Science Administration building since the Nixon administration. Joe was an old cadaver. Joe had no skin left from the jawline down. Joe was the color of old rubber bands, and he smelled like them too. But that was okay, because like any anatomy nerd with nothing better to do on a Friday night than memorize the names of deflated skeletal muscles, I would meet with my classmate Sarah, and we would go to the lab and work on the cadaver and learn words like pectoralis major and tibialis anterior and my personal favorite, sternocleidomastoid. How
is it that your process works for developing the speech?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both scenarios, actually. So I had the email that I had written to myself essentially 20 years ago, and I just read through it, and I rewrote that just in like a Word document based on 20 years more knowledge of the English language and writing skills, and just thinking, okay, this is my voice as an adult instead of a 19-year-old, adult in quotes. And so I just rewritten it, and I added some embellishments, of course. I added some extravagant wording, and basically my process is just get it out, vomit it out, and see how long it is. And I remember reading it out loud, and it was like 12 minutes. I thought, okay, I got to take some stuff out.
Several months later, my travels took me back to Kenosha, and I once again paid a visit to the cemetery and the grave of my great-great-grandfather. But this time, as I entered the cemetery, the lawnkeeper saw me and came running up to me and he said, "I was hoping you would come back. There's something you need to see." And he took me to the grave. He said, "Ever since you left, the grass has been growing like crazy. We can't explain it. We have to cut the grass every other day. It's some kind of miracle." And at that moment, my cell phone rang, and it was Tommy Cumiskey calling from Ireland. Keith, I've been wanting to call you and tell you, ever since you left, about a week after, grass just started growing up over that cemetery, over the grave, where no grass had grown for over 150 years.
All right, so it's just a lot of practice, a lot of focus, and one of the reasons I wanted to kind of keep it on a more conversational level was because I wanted it to seem as if I was telling a story that just happened to kind of turn into a tall tale towards the end. Yeah. And I wanted to leave people with that impression that they were thinking all the way through, wait, is this true? Yep. Could this, yep. And like your questions right from the beginning, what parts of that were true? Right. Was any of it true? Yeah. So I purposely wanted to do that. It was definitely scripted. My placement on the stage, hand gestures, for example. The father was heartbroken.
And so, in the end, I'm still super grateful to be part of it. But
I've been asked questions like that on more than one occasion, like where I wasn't the judge, but I was at a contest, and then somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, Keith, you've been around a while. I didn't win. Like, what do you think I did wrong?" And in almost all cases, my message is, make up your mind when you're going into this. Do you have a story? Do you have a message you want to tell? Or do you want to win the contest? Because I'm not saying they're mutually exclusive, but they very well can be.
If you think about it, these 3 stages, enthusiasm, frustration, and momentum, they apply to so many other things. A new job, a new hobby, trying to start a new healthy habit. When you start something new, you are excited and you have an idea of what you want to achieve and where you want to get to. And there is nothing that's going to stop you. Oftentimes, though, there is some kind of setback, and it makes us doubt our abilities, and we question, why did I even bother this in the first place? We get frustrated, and we want to give up. And to get past those setbacks, sometimes you need to ask for help, and that's okay. Or maybe you just need to take a break, eat some pizza, and then try again. I actually have a group on Facebook and a not very active blog about making healthy choices. And
Okay.
I thought that those stages really apply to that. And that's where it came from, that healthy habit. So I kind of expanded on it from that perspective, that pushing past those setbacks whenever you feel like you fail when you're trying something new. And so I kind of expanded from there, and I wrote a little bit more about it for that purpose, for that group. I'm really proud of myself. I think when I gave that speech at the district, it was the best time. Like, it was my best, I guess, performance of that
Sure,
speech.
best delivery, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm really proud of myself for doing that, you know, having come from somebody who several years ago, before I started Toastmasters, if I had to speak in a big meeting, I would get physically sick. So to have that kind of journey, and I want to go farther. It'd be awesome to make it to
Yeah.
international, and to get to go to, you know, have somebody else pay for my way to the international conference.
You know, with our luck though, the year we get to international, it's in like Moline, East Moline or something like that,
Right.
you know. No. All expense paid trip to Rockford, you know.
Yeah. You got to plan it right. You got to,
Right.
where is it next year? Okay, I'll do the contest.
Right. The Bahamas was the year to try to go all in, I think.